How to be always happy in life. Stoicism. What if I told you that true happiness isn't about chasing pleasure or avoiding pain? What if lasting happiness came not from changing your circumstances, but from changing how you respond to them? Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Today, we're diving deep into one of life's most important questions. How can we find real, sustainable happiness? Not just fleeting joy, but a profound sense of contentment that remains steady even when life gets chaotic. And to answer this question, we're turning to one of history's most powerful philosophies, Stoicism. Now, if you think Stoicism is about suppressing emotions or enduring suffering with a stiff upper lip, you're in for a surprise. The ancient Stoics weren't emotionless robots. They were practical philosophers who understood human psychology in ways that modern science is only now confirming. In the next 40 minutes, I'm going to share with you the core Stoic principles that have helped millions of people, from Roman emperors to modern CEOs, athletes, and everyday individuals, find genuine happiness regardless of their external circumstances. You'll learn why most of us are looking for happiness in all the wrong places, the Stoic definition of true happiness and why it's revolutionary, practical exercises you can start using today to transform how you experience life's ups and downs, and how to build an unshakable inner citadel that no external event can destroy. If you're tired of the emotional roller coaster, if you want to worry less and live more, and if you're ready to take control of your mental state rather than letting it control you, this video is for you. Let's begin the journey to Stoic happiness. Part 1. The Happiness Paradox. Before we dive into Stoic solutions, let's understand the problem. Why is happiness so elusive for most of us? We live in the most comfortable time in human history. We have technologies our ancestors couldn't have dreamed of. And yet, studies show that happiness levels aren't increasing with our standard of living. If anything, anxiety, depression, and dissatisfaction seem to be on the rise. Why is that? Here's what the Stoics would say. We've been trained to look for happiness in all the wrong places. Most of us have absorbed a formula for happiness that goes something like this. If I achieve X goal, if I acquire Y possession, if I get recognition from Z person or group, then I'll be happy. We're constantly pushing our happiness into the future, making it contingent on external achievements and circumstances. And here's where the paradox comes in. This approach to happiness is fundamentally flawed for 3 reasons the Stoics identified over 2,000 years ago. Reason 1. External achievements don't deliver lasting happiness. Have you ever noticed how quickly we adapt to positive changes in our lives? This is what psychologists today call the hedonic treadmill. We get the promotion, feel great for a week, then return to our baseline level of happiness. The ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca observed this when he wrote, "It is not the man who has too little who is poor, but the one who hankers after more." The goalposts keep moving. Once we achieve one goal, we immediately set a new one, never allowing ourselves to feel the contentment we're seeking. Reason 2. External circumstances are largely beyond our control. If your happiness depends on specific external circumstances, you've placed it at the mercy of factors you cannot control. Weather changes, economies fluctuate, other people make their own choices, and random events occur. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who began life as a slave before becoming one of history's greatest teachers, put it this way: make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Reason 3. Negative visualization becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we place our happiness in external events, we naturally begin to fear their loss. We become anxious about losing our job, our relationship ending, or our health declining. This fear itself prevents happiness in the present moment. As Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote in his private journal, Meditations, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." So if external achievements, possessions, and circumstances can't provide lasting happiness, what's the alternative? This is where Stoic philosophy offers a revolutionary perspective that can transform your life. Part 2. The Stoic definition of happiness. The ancient Stoics had a term for happiness, eudaimonia. but it doesn't translate directly to what we call happiness today. While modern happiness is often associated with pleasure or positive emotions, eudaimonia means something closer to flourishing or living well. It's about living virtuously in accordance with nature and reason. Let me break down the core Stoic principles that lead to true happiness. Principle 1. Happiness comes from within. The foundation of Stoic happiness is the understanding that real joy comes not from external events, but from our judgments about those events. Epictetus made this point crystal clear. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. This means that two people can experience the exact same external event, but have completely different emotional reactions based on their judgments and interpretations. Think about it. Have you ever been stuck in traffic with someone who became increasingly frustrated and angry, their mood ruined for hours afterwards? And have you known someone else who uses traffic as an opportunity to enjoy a podcast, reflect on their day, or practice patience? Same external circumstance, completely different experience. Principle 2. Focus on what you can control. The Stoics divided all things into two categories: things within our control, things outside our control. According to Epictetus, some things are within our power while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, reputation, office, and in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. This is perhaps the most liberating aspect of Stoicism. When you focus exclusively on what you can control, your judgments, your actions, your character, you reclaim your power to create happiness regardless of circumstances. Let me share a personal example. Principle 3. Virtue is sufficient for happiness. The Stoics believed that living virtuously, according to wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, was both necessary and sufficient for happiness. In other words, you don't need anything else to be happy. If you're living with virtue, happiness naturally follows as a byproduct. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This doesn't mean you need to be perfect. It means you're striving to live according to virtue, making decisions based on wisdom, making good judgments about what will help you live well. Justice, treating others fairly and with kindness. Courage, facing challenges with fortitude. Temperance, exercising moderation and self-discipline. When you align your actions with these virtues, you develop what the Stoics called the smooth flow of life, a state where external events may change, but your internal state remains balanced. Principle 4. Happiness requires accepting reality as it is. The Stoics emphasized living according to nature, which meant accepting reality exactly as it is, not as you wish it would be. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When we resist reality, wishing things were different, complaining about circumstances beyond our control, or living in denial, we create unnecessary suffering for ourselves. Accepting reality doesn't mean being passive or giving up. It means seeing things clearly so you can take effective action where possible and practice equanimity where change isn't possible. Part 3. Practical Stoic exercises for happiness. Now that we understand the Stoic philosophy of happiness, let's explore practical exercises you can use to apply these principles in your daily life. Exercise 1. The dichotomy of control practice. Take out a piece of paper and draw 2 columns. In the left column, list all the things bothering you that are outside your control. In the right column, list what aspects of each situation are within your control. For example, outside your control, getting stuck in traffic. Within your control, how you use that time, your attitude about the delay. The magic happens when you deliberately shift your focus from the left column to the right column. This isn't just positive thinking. It's strategic attention allocation based on where you actually have power. Try this exercise whenever you're feeling stressed or unhappy about something. You'll be amazed at how it shifts your emotional state. Exercise 2. Negative visualization, premeditatio malorum. This might sound counterintuitive, but one of the most powerful Stoic practices for happiness is regularly contemplating what could go wrong or what you might lose. The technique, called premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils, it isn't about becoming pessimistic. It's about reducing anxiety by facing your fears directly, increasing gratitude for what you currently have, preparing mentally for challenges so they don't overwhelm you. Here's how to practice it. Take 5 minutes each morning to imagine losing something you value. Your job, a relationship, your health, certain comforts. Visualize how you would cope and adapt. Then return to the present with renewed appreciation. Seneca advised, set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, is this the condition that I feared? I practice this regularly, and it's transformed my relationship with everything from material possessions to relationships. When you recognize the impermanence of everything, you appreciate it more deeply in the present. Exercise 3. The view from above. This powerful visualization exercise helps you gain perspective on your problems. Here's how to practice it. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in your current location. Mentally zoom out to see your home from above. Continue zooming out to see your neighborhood, city, country, continent. Keep expanding until you see the Earth as a tiny dot in the vast universe. Now, bring to mind your current concerns and observe how they appear from this perspective. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, survey the circling stars as though yourself were in mid-course with them. When I'm caught up in day-to-day stresses, this exercise immediately shifts my perspective. Problems that seemed overwhelming suddenly appear manageable, even trivial from this cosmic viewpoint. Exercise 4. The Stoic Journal. Journaling was central to Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations was essentially his private journal, never intended for publication. Here's a simple Stoic journaling practice. Morning. Take 5 to 10 minutes to write about what potential challenges might arise today. Which virtues might you need to exercise? What is within your control and what isn't? Evening. Take another 5-10 minutes to reflect. What went well today? What didn't? Did you respond to challenges with virtue? What could you improve tomorrow? Seneca advocated for this type of self-examination. I will keep constant watch over myself and most usefully will put each day up for review. Exercise 5. Voluntary discomfort. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort to build resilience and reduce attachment to comfort. Some simple ways to practice this. Take a cold shower, fast for 24 hours, sleep on the floor for a night. Exercise to the point of discomfort. Go without technology for a day. Musonius Rufus, another prominent Stoic, taught, we must undergo training which is difficult compared to the real thing, so that the real thing will later seem easier to us. I practice voluntary discomfort regularly by share personal example. What I've found is that these practices expand your comfort zone and build confidence in your ability to handle discomfort when it arises involuntarily. Exercise 6. Amor fati, love of fate. This advanced Stoic practice involves not just accepting whatever happens, but actually embracing and loving it as necessary and good for your growth. The phrase amor fati means love of fate, and while it wasn't used by the ancient Stoics themselves, it perfectly captures their attitude toward events. To practice amor fati, when something bad happens, say to yourself, this is exactly what I need right now for my growth. Look for the opportunity within every adversity. Ask, how can I use this situation to practice virtue? Epictetus advised, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. Part 4. Building your Stoic inner citadel. The Stoics often referred to the mind as an inner citadel, a fortress that remains impenetrable regardless of external circumstances. Building this inner citadel doesn't happen overnight. It's constructed through consistent practice of Stoic principles until they become second nature. Let me share a framework for developing this unshakable inner peace. Step 1. Develop awareness of your judgments. The first step is simply noticing the gap between events and your reactions to them. In that gap lies your judgment, the interpretation you're giving to the event. Practice pausing before reacting to anything and asking yourself, what judgment am I making about this situation? Is this judgment necessary? Is it true? Is there another way to view this? Epictetus taught. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Step 2. Challenge unhelpful thinking patterns. Modern cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, was heavily influenced by Stoicism, and both systems recognize that specific patterns of thinking create unnecessary suffering. Learn to identify and challenge. Catastrophizing, assuming the worst will happen. Personalizing, taking things personally that aren't about you. Black and white thinking, seeing things as all good or all bad. Fortune-telling, assuming you know what will happen. Step 3. Practice the Stoic virtues in everyday life. Happiness comes from living virtuously. But virtue isn't just for grand moments. It's practiced in the smallest daily actions. Look for opportunities to practice. Wisdom, making thoughtful decisions rather than reacting impulsively. Justice, treating others fairly, including those who annoy you. Courage, speaking truth, facing fears, taking calculated risks. Temperance, exercising moderation in pleasures and habits. Step 4. Create Stoic reminders in your environment. The ancient Stoics carried physical reminders of their principles. You can do the same by setting phone reminders to practice specific exercises, wearing a bracelet that reminds you of impermanence, placing quotes in your workspace, creating a wallpaper with a key Stoic principle. Step 5. Find your Stoic community. While Stoicism emphasizes internal strength, having a community of practice makes a huge difference. The ancient Stoics formed schools and communities to support each other. You can join online Stoic groups and forums, start a Stoic book club, find a Stoic practice partner to check in with, attend Stoic conferences or meetups. Remember, building your inner citadel is a lifelong practice. There will be days when you struggle, when emotions overwhelm your Stoic intentions. That's not failure. It's part of being human. The goal isn't perfect Stoic tranquility every moment, but rather a general trajectory toward greater equanimity, virtue, and internal freedom. Conclusion, the Stoic promise. We've covered a lot in this video, from understanding the fundamentals of Stoic happiness to practical exercises for building your inner citadel. But I want to leave you with what I call the Stoic promise, what this philosophy offers if you commit to practicing it consistently. The Stoic promise is not perpetual bliss or the absence of negative emotions. It's something far more valuable, the ability to find tranquility and purpose, regardless of external circumstances. It's the freedom that comes from knowing your happiness depends on your character, not on your bank account, relationship status, or social media metrics. It's the confidence that comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you, with dignity and virtue. And perhaps most importantly, it's the joy that emerges naturally when you stop resisting reality and start embracing it fully, both its beauty and its challenges. Epictetus, who endured slavery and exile, still managed to teach. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. I encourage you to start small. Pick just one Stoic practice from this video and commit to it for the next week. Notice what changes in your experience of life.